Here is an Edison box fan. It's a 20-inch model. This is another one of the ones that I got from Tori this year at the fan meet. He offloaded a bunch of fans to me because he didn't want to see them just get tossed or scrapped out, and knew that I would give them a good home. So this is one of the ones that's now safe over here. And I'm sure it will provide years, if not decades, of reliable service because these are good quality vintage machines. This is, it's a no, it's only a 2-speed. It's missing the knob. I think I have one that will fit this. It's from a box fan that the letter H parted out. And I actually have something for the handle. Sometimes you get boxes with like those little plastic strap type handles, and those work really good for this. I know I saw one a couple days ago. It was in like some bizarre miscellaneous spot on the other side of the room. The camera will if the tripod will give me back the camera. Let me see if I can find it right quick. I know it's somewhere over here because I was moving things around and I saw it, and it reminded me of that particular box fan. It was somewhere over here. It was like on the edge of something. Yep, there it is. I wish I could say that's scripted, but it's not. That is exactly how this place operates. Here it is. So this one, it's not gonna, I'm not sure it's gonna fit natively, but we can probably cut that back to size and make it work somehow. And aside from the color, that's actually not far off from what these fans came with originally. The handles that these came with were not very strong, and a lot of them broke. So we'll just stick that in there like this. It's actually going to work natively. Look at that. Excellent handle. Alright, so now we just need a switch. I got a switch right here. This is from 3733. Ooh, 3733. Is this gonna work? It might not. The switch has two flat sides, or the knob has two flat sides rather. You know what? It'll work enough to get us through the video. Alright, now that we have completed the parts that we need, we can test it out and move it around. So this one's kind of an unusual color scheme, at least it's not one that I've seen too often. The blades are a very light tan. I think they're about the same color as the cabinet, but they start to appear very dark because of the shadowing of the guards. It is... Do we have a model number on this thing? It's a Toastmaster incorporated motor, type 203 PEG, 115 volts, 2.6 amps. It's a 6-pole shaded pole motor, and this thing was definitely used for some type of like a sheetrock project or something. Maybe it was a garage unit. It's got a lot of that very fine dust in the motor, so I'll have to get that cleaned out. It's on the front guard as well, which I think is going to be a pain in the neck to clean, but we'll get it. It's an Edison model 204025, 2.6 amps, which is actually consistent for once. I don't know what those two numbers mean. I suspect this is like a late 80s, early 90s product. There's definitely some elements of cheapness starting to surface. Most notably, the way the motor's set up. the cord comes out right here as opposed to buying an extra 15 inches of wire to make it come out the bottom. Plus, the motor mounts directly on the guard as opposed to having the two struts that go down. And also, I'm just noticing that this is riveted as opposed to screwed. Now, how much cheaper a rivet is compared to a screw, I don't know. Maybe it's faster for the assembly process or something. But that's really kind of cheesy. Can't take the rear guard off. Front guard's still held down with screws. I guess it don't really matter all that much. It's still kind of weird. Now you can see the blades are pretty much the same color as the cabinet. I like the color. It's almost like a... It's not quite the avocado green from the 70s, but it kind of resembles that to me. At least to my eyes that don't see the colors that good. I suspect the color is faded or changed, at least on the blades. Maybe the paint has maintained its integrity. It's really not in all that bad a condition. Now there's a lot of dirt here. I suspect much of that could be cleaned off. The top, well, the other side was in better condition. The top has like sticky tape residue around the handle. That could probably be cleaned off. Okay, well, it was in much better condition before I started to do this video, but I still think that a lot of this can be cleaned up and it'll look pretty decent. This side is pretty good. Just a little bit of dirt there, not much at all. Only a couple slats broken on the guard here in the bottom corner. The guard actually still feels very pliable. Doesn't have that really brittle sound to it either. So whatever kind of plastic this guard was made out of seems to hold up a lot better than some of the other ones. I have two of the brown and light colored, or is it light colored? I don't remember. I think the blade might be the same color, but it's all brown on the outside with lighter colored guards. And those guards are made out of some plastic that's super brittle, and both of those things rattle and vibrate like crazy. So hopefully this one won't be as bad. I have mixed feelings about these. I think the aerodynamics of the blades is just absolutely terrible. And I'm very interested to try running one of these in reverse, which you can achieve by taking the motor apart and putting the stator back on inversely. Because I feel like the blade design would actually move more air in reverse, because the scoop of the blades is kind of towards the back. It scoops towards the back and it just like pushes to the front. It's a very, very strange set of aerodynamics, and I just don't feel like it's correct. Yeah, this is a very low rust model. Very little rust anywhere. These motors seem to like to rust out, but this one's pretty good. Non-polarized plug. Very, very thin wire. We are currently testing with 119.6 volts. Let's go over to the amps. And it's got two off positions. I wonder if this is a 3-speed switch just with not everything connected. The low, it's going to start off on high. We'll move it to low first. Wait a minute. Am I not reading this right? It clearly says off, high, low, off. That's 2 speeds. But it just ran on 3 speeds. Well, I guess that's just nonsense. I wonder if the same cage was used for a bunch of different models. And on this 3-speed one, it was just a larger dial that covered that. Well, no, this is not working. Here's the low. So there is no rattling or vibrations. but it's very loud. It's in the blade set itself is very loud. Though I have to say, it's moving a lot more air than I remembered the other ones that I have doing. This is a different guard. Maybe this guard is more aerodynamic. I think the slats are a little bit bigger. Balance is not terrible, but it's definitely not really in the best balance. The performance is not too shabby. It seems to push air out to the sides too, which I really like. Then you can put it in the corner of the room and you get airflow everywhere. Now, this is probably right in the windstream. See, right in front of it here, I actually feel very little air, but if you move to the sides a couple feet, you start to feel a lot of air. A lot of these older fans seem to behave that way. I wonder if that was intentional. Now see this? This is drawing air in for quite a bit of space. So the aerodynamics of this are not correct. This really should have had a venturi around it, because that, I'm sure, is affecting performance a lot. That actually might be contributing to a bunch of the noise, is that air rushing in and out on the front up against the tips of the blades like that. In fact, I can hear in person a slight difference. When I cover this corner, it does become ever so slightly quieter. I bet if all of the covers were cornered like on the Lasco Ultra Force with that kind of venturi guard, I bet this would be I bet this would be considerably quieter. Yeah, this is in the frame here. No, it's not. See, it moves pretty good air out to the sides, but then in the middle, see, it cuts down quite a bit. Power information is 1.09 amps, 81 the watts, and 0.62 the power factor, which is pretty poor, but it is a shaded pole, so that's kind of to be expected. Alright, now let's go to the medium. Part of the problem is I don't know which direction this knob is supposed to be turned in, because there's no labeling on the... Alright, so there's the medium. Now we get some of those vibrations. These were cheap, no doubt about it, but still a million times better than what you get today. That's 1.43 amps, not amps, 103 the watts, and 0.6 the power factor. As far as the airflow goes, not really a big change. Kind of just more noise than anything. There's very little difference in airflow amongst those speeds. It moves decent air, but it's just so loud. The balance is actually not that bad. It's not perfect, but it's pretty reasonable. It looks like the blade was molded pretty well. I don't see the hub being all shaky and off-centered. It looks pretty good. Actually, that's like really good. It's almost kind of unusual to see him that well centered. That's almost perfect. Yeah, that's kind of unusual. It's a good thing. It's just not common. Alright, let's see what we got on the hot. Hot, we've got 1.99 amps, 141 watts, and a power factor of 0.6 the power factor. The 2 amps for this amount of air, it's a lot of power drawn for not a whole lot to show for it. It's just loud. The performance is okay. It's just too loud. It's not too bad on the low. It really does feel pretty much the same. Up close and far back, I really don't feel a lot of difference in the speeds. I like the color scheme though. It's a very aesthetically pleasing fan. I'll have to get a different knob for that. Looks like the bearings are in pretty good condition. They're in very good condition. Well, if I ever get a dishwasher that's working properly down here, we can put this guard in there and I bet that would clean it right up. It's not too bad. Just that very fine drywall sheetrock type dust is on a lot of the slats and in between the corners. You can tell this has been cleaned at some point, and then it was maybe used for one more project. I don't know. A lot of times you never know the history on these things, but anyways, a nice little fan. Not the best performing units out there in terms of noise and power consumption, but I do like these. Most certainly is not going to get scrapped or thrown out. I will definitely use it.